Hey folks, Spec Ops Monkey here. Today, I want to talk to you a little bit about satellite phones. If you've ever been in a situation where comms are down, you realize very quickly how critical it can be to reach out and touch someone in the event of an emergency. Whether you're popping smoke for an exfil, in a remote location where there is no cell coverage, in a natural disaster, or just off the grid, having a satellite phone in your quiver can be a real game changer. And one of the beauties of the sat phone is that it can also be used without giving up your precise location, unlike a cell phone. All you need is an open sky, and the satellites will do the rest. Now, for my sat phone needs, I use a satellite phone store, as they have several options as well as lots of different plans available to fit your needs. Plus, they have a ton of accessories like Faraday pouches, hard cases, etc. They also have an exclusive offer for the Monkey Nation. Just go to sat123.com/monkeywerx via the link in the description box below, or call 619-399-3800 and tell them Monkey sent you. That is good coffee. All right, welcome folks. Spec Ops Monkey here. This is going to be your sit rep for Friday the 15th of October. Coming to you live at about 3:20 p.m. Central Time from the great state of Texas. Now, as we get things moving here, I'm going to pop on over to the boards. Make sure you hit that like, subscribe, and bell for notification. I am just coming off of a couple days of vacation, and so I haven't posted since Monday. And so just kind of getting caught up here on the skies and what's going on. But currently sitting around 270 up. About it's a little heavy for this time of day. Seem to have a sea of tankers. Every refueler's up right now, and which is interesting. Don't see that too often. Although we did see a surge a couple weeks ago, but we've got quite a few up. That would indicate that we have a lot of aircraft aloft, including a lot of fighters usually. So there is that, and then of course we got an electronics suite and a lot of recon or surveillance birds that are up right now. We're going to take a little closer look at some of those right now as we kind of get into this, but just to kind of start it out. Now I did see, I want to say 4 R135s up, which as you guys know, those are spy birds, and they seem to be up kind of over central US. We'll look closer at that here in just 2 seconds, but now let me see here. We do have our normal sentries that are up. Here's one that's over kind of Middle Texas there doing its route. Now that could be just working congestion here because we got a lot of trainers up today. It is a pretty beautiful day out over Texas. A little cool, kind of windy at the ground level, but for flying it's probably just about perfect. So very nice out. We did have another one here. Let me just hit the P and see if it comes back up. It did. Let me just hit this real fast and then I'll turn that off. This is our other sentry, and it looks like it's kind of hanging out over Carlsbad. There's Roswell, New Mexico here. So that's kind of the Texas-New Mexico border, and kind of running routes out there. Now, again, remember, these things have the ability to actually look and gather data outside of just doing air traffic control. Okay, so let me turn this P back off. And let me back up just a touch. I'm going to get down here. I want to just look at the location of these R135s that are currently up. Now, they are, like I said, 4 of them, which is pretty unusual. You usually don't get too many at one given time. Looks like I'm down to 3 now, so one must have just landed. But here's first one is up here. It's running its kind of normal route. I don't know what they do up there, but that is one of the normal routes. And then my board moving on me a little bit here. Let me see this other Top Cat 35. We'll look at this one closer here in a minute. I think that's the one I've got. No, 25. We'll look at the other one here in a minute. So that's 2 running kind of the same area. And so you can get a little bit of a closer look and see that's a pretty broad sweep, but it looks like it's just south of Casper, Wyoming, and up here into Nebraska. So there is that. Now, we did have some Dash 8s out as well that are doing some recon. Now, I will tell you, Flashbang is up over the northeast. He is going to be doing a lot of legwork here today up in Connecticut. So we'll look closer at that here in just a second. But let me pop this up real fast as I get my radar going and just kind of take a look at what we have in terms of TFRs up right now. And so this is going to be all Flashbang up here. Okay, so he's up there doing his thing. And then we'll look at his schedule here in just a second. This is going to be space operations down in Florida. And then we do have an air show here. That's Orlando Disney. Let me just double check. That's air show. I never seen an air show go red. Okay. Well, that's a red air show. And then air show here, Baton Rouge. Air show right here in Texas. This is security down over in Austin. That's going to be probably Fort Hood. This is a security TFR that's permanent. And look who's back. So we seem to have gotten this one back, which is our TFR for the border. Somebody must have just slipped and not renewed when they were supposed to. Or somebody had some foul play going on there. But another air show there on the border. These are border TFRs. Those are always there. We get up here, fireboxes. This stuff here is both security. Disney is in here, and you got a couple bases in here as well. This is going to be Beale Air Force Base, and then let me see. I think that's probably space operations, but let me just double check. Yeah, space operations. So for the most part, let me just see what this one is. Space ops, and that's probably a fire. But let me just double check. Yeah, fire. Okay. So for the most part, that is it. That's going to kind of cover what's going on in the U.S. relative to TFRs. And let's get over here to what's happening here around the world in terms of volcanic activity as it relates to aviation. And it looks like we've got about 8 of them up right now that are still spewing ash. This La Palma is just rocking it, man. It has been on for a while, and doesn't seem to be slowing down at all. So it'll be really interesting to see what continues to happen with that one. But now remember, volcanoes like that, when they're spewing a lot of ash into the sky, it doesn't take much to do a little bit of a impact on your climate. And you cool a region by a couple of degrees, and you can actually stimulate crop failures and all kinds of different stuff. And not good. That's actually happened in ancient Rome, and part of the reason why part of Rome collapsed in the original days because of that. So aircraft of interest, this is going to be the Top Cat 25. It's another one of our R135s that's up there running routes as well. And it looks like he's headed westbound right now. But you can see, looks like some touch and goes there. But this right here is their quintessential, those shoelace looking routes. That's they're gathering data when they do that. So anyway, up there near Pocahontas. Yeah. All right. There's that. And this is going to be a Loma 31. Just rolled out of Fort Bliss. Now, those, you guys remember that Fort Bliss, that's Biggs Army Airfield. That looks like a bunch of touch and goes, and now it looks to be headed northwest out of that location. So maybe they're going to get ready to do some work here. And then this is the other Loma 64. And now that one's kind of doing a little more interesting stuff. I don't really know what, but 16,200 feet. We'll see if they go into one of their search patterns here in a minute. But remember, this is full of poppies, this location, okay? And on that note, let's get into the poppies a little bit. Let me tell you what's going on with our border. It's not just poppies. This is just border in general. Now, over the last 5 or so days, we actually, you see this written by the Washington Examiner, that the border has been left wide open after red states pull the National Guard and their police. So these are basically governors that sent people down to our border to assist, are now calling all their people back. And so now we've got a pretty big impact relative to coverage at the border. It just never fails. You wonder whose side they're on, knowing what's coming. You'd think they'd say, hey, we're going to help you guys, but there's more to this. So, and of course we got the mandate, which is going to be an impact on Border Patrol. But check this out. I did get a little intel today. And my understanding is Abbott is putting the National Guard, Texas Guard down there on the border for 3 years. And he is going to be at high numbers for 3 years. So he is not messing around, which is a godsend. All right. So that is good news. But if we have to, we'll reach out to Governor Abbott and find out what he needs us to do, if he needs a little bit more coverage or protection, because I think we could probably pull the trigger and get a lot of Texans down there as well as other states if we needed to protect our border. So, all right, there is that. Now, let's get over here to Flashbang and his schedule. Now, this thing, I'm telling you, this is like a geriatric trifecta. This guy is going everywhere today. I don't think he's going to know where he is half the time. But he rolled out of the Senior Living Center, the Brown Zone, earlier today. flying Air Force One, actually, they're calling it. I'm surprised they didn't say NA on there, but I guess somebody's having a gaggle on board. As they head to Windsor Locks, all right, that's at 12 o'clock. Now, looks like he arrives there or has already arrived there, and then it looks like he's headed down to some child development center. And then let's see here. Build Back Better agenda, which is failing miserably, by the way. I mean, it just like a deck, just a house of cards here, man. The amount of stuff that is happening between supply chain and the mandate, and the economy's already slowing down, and inflation going up, and then you got this whole immigration fiasco. This dude's scorecard is in the toilet, man. This thing is like just like a giant dumpster fire. Oh boy. Anyway, it looks like he's coming back to the Senior Living Center about 7 p.m. today. So there is that. Okay. All right. Let's get over to Biggs, where the damage is being done, and we'll see what's going on here. Now, looks like we are already in the process of rehoming folks. We talked about that in the past, but it looks like they're starting to actually cycle them. So we've got all the new folks coming in and the old folks going out. But if you look at the arrivals coming inbound today, we've got 3 flights inbound to Biggs Army Airfield. These are coming out of Philly, Cincinnati, Dallas Love Field. That's going to be Southwest. I'm surprised they're still on that board because they are in a world of hurt right now. I think their employees are about to teach them a lesson here pretty soon. So departure-wise, looks like we've got one headed to Mobile, Alabama. So congratulations, you're getting some new poppies. Shreveport getting some new poppies coming on Delta Airlines. And then in the rack and stack here, we've got United Airlines is actually flying back to Washington, actually coming inbound, from Washington Dulles. That's going to be a fresh load of new poppies on a 777. And then Dallas has got an Airbus coming out of Atlanta, probably coming in to pick some folks up. Now, these are the scheduled departures, so this is where they're going to be going. Looks like we got Omni is sending some folks to Fort Worth Alliance. Oh, boy. And United Airlines, Chicago O'Hare. And then, of course, we've got Delta Airlines headed to Shreveport. All right. And so looks like they're starting to stack them up out in those locations. We'll keep our eye on Biggs. Biggs is kind of the heart of all of this. And then, of course, we've got 2 other bases we're going to look at today. One is Volk Airfield. And so now that's Camp Douglas up there in Wisconsin. The board is blank, folks. So it looks like you got a slight reprieve. Not sure. Let me see here. I say that. Okay, but this is throughout the week. So you're still getting some. This was the last one was on Tuesday. It was a 747-400 that came out of Chicago O'Hare. And then we had one on Monday, which was from Philly. That's going to be your Sun Country. Okay. So nothing really new today. The board's blank. Everything's good. We get over to Holloman, which is out in New Mexico. And it looks like Delta Airlines, Allegiant, a lot of Allegiant flights in and out of there. So we've got quite a few coming. Looks like they're arriving out of Philly. So, yeah, these are all fresh, going VFR direct to Holloman instead of processing them through Biggs. So we've got fresh poppies coming in from Philly. Philly looks to be the spot. 5, 6, 7 flights from Philly today direct into Holloman Air Force Base out there in New Mexico. So there is that. Now let's go over here to the U.S. Transportation Command and see what they've got on the board. I see only 2 flights that I can actually see here. Let me back up a little bit. I'm looking at 3. Now this is interesting because I show 3 flights there, but if I go over here to everything in the air, I've got 5. So there's two flights we aren't seeing. These are actually, let's see here. We got them coming out of Bayron, which that's probably bringing poppies to Philly, if I had to guess. Notice the destinations are blank. Okay. Ramstein, probably going also, coming out of there, headed to Philly. I'll bet money on it. These are all U.S. bound flights. So, and these are all poppies. They're bringing additional Afghanis into our country by the boatloads, folks. It looks like we're about to get overrun. Now, I don't know if you've been paying attention to what's going on at the southern border. But let me tell you, the numbers that I'm hearing are pretty staggering. And my understanding is that the actual flashbang administration is going to try to stop a lot of that with that Mexico stop EO that Trump had actually put into play. And so it looks like first they were against it, then they were for it, and then they were against it, and now they're for it. So a little flip-flop action here. I've got a fourth one that is finally showing here. So, but anyway, these are probably all coming into the United States with more poppies, okay? All right. Now, let's get over here to Guantanamo Bay and see what's been going on at the spa this week. So far today, it looks like we got kind of a normal flow. We do get the stuff coming in from Norfolk. That's typically going to be a supply run. And then we get the Sun Country again. That's Legal Eagle Ubers coming out of Jacksonville and back. Nothing else on the board. Now, what is missing from the board are our small little puddle jumpers that we get over there on Tuesday, Fridays, which are the white hats. Not seeing those on here, but let's pop in and see what's going on throughout the week. Now, last time we were together was Monday, so Tuesday looks like we did have our puddle jumper did a twofer this week. Came in Tuesday and Thursday. Not seeing them for Friday. Delta Airlines rolled in here on Thursday, and then we had our stuff coming in today. So that's a pretty good little stack up for a 2-week period. But nothing really catches my eye out of the norm other than those Delta Airline flights are definitely out of sequence. And then that looks like a medical flight there coming out of Lawrenceville, Georgia. So there is that. Keep our eye on this one. Again, if we look at the schedule for the court date stuff, there's really nothing going on until the end of the month. And so when we start seeing stuff popping in kind of out of sequence from some of these locations, I don't know who's on it. I doubt it's press. I don't know. It's just something is, sometimes you just don't know. It just doesn't make sense. It's not one of our normal little small out of tempo or out of sequence ones. Nothing on the docket, which it just goes to tell you that there are other things going on there that we are not being told about. Okay. Now let's start looking a little closer at our Guantanamo Bay birds. This one is scheduled. It's coming out of White Plains down to Syracuse. That's probably going to be one of your executives that do work down in Guantanamo Bay. They utilize this flight as well as the Maxwell bird from time to time. And so that's probably what they are, at least when I see them heading up here to White Plains, New York. That's where it has been. So, all right. And so 302 AZ, that's going to be the sister ship there of 301 AZ. It's currently en route, landing in 30 minutes, coming out of Asheville, North Carolina, over to Fairhope, Alabama. And then it looks like from there it's going to head down to O-Town in Orlando and then over to Palm Beach, which that is kind of its hub, so to speak, even though it does operate a lot out of Fort Lauderdale. Okay. All right. 631 JS is currently en route, lands 2 hours, 19 minutes. This one's kind of an interesting one. It's coming back from Beef Island. So out here in the Tortolas and going to Lauderdale. So maybe a little bit of a shakedown, somebody getting a ride. I don't know. Let's see how long it was out there. It went from Miami. Now, let's see. Is that actually Miami International? Yeah, I think it is. It doesn't look like Opa-locka. So, but yeah, rolled out of Miami on Friday. Actually, earlier today, over there to Beef Island and then back. So there is that. We'll watch that one, see if it ends up at the spa or not. All right. Okay, now over to our Department of No Justice. In 721 AL landed 47 minutes ago. It was in Oklahoma City and went back to D.C. So looks like they were doing some work there in Oklahoma out here at Will Rogers. So don't know that. If you notice, it was out there on Tuesday, went back up, picked some folks up. So they've had them out there all week. So watch the news. May see something interesting coming out of that region or some type of release from the DOJ on something. All right. Now, this is just kind of a back of the napkin look at what's going on relative to delays in the commercial arena. Okay. And so looks like Memphis right now is kind of one that's getting smacked. Philly's been got some delays, but Memphis is like that one's red, so that means it's pretty bad. in Long Beach as well as here in Dallas. So I would imagine you're going to see Dallas going yellow, and that is probably related to, that's not DFW, that is going to be Dallas Love Field. And so you're probably going to see that because there's not really any weather going on here, so it'll be interesting to see. Now, they can have weather at other locations, and that'll cause weather delays, but that's staffing, I believe. And that is because, when you mess with the people, and airline industry, man, they will put a hurting on you. And so, yeah, I think that's what we're seeing here, and I'm glad for them. I really am. I think that, you know what, my prayers are with them, and I really pray that they stick through this. And with the season that's coming up, if you want to see them put a hurting on somebody, that they can do that very quickly because flight attendants and pilots, you don't just replace those very quickly, and so that takes time. And so, it's a hard lesson to learn as a CEO when you look where your bread is buttered and don't treat your people right. So. Okay, let's see what we got internationally. Looks like Frankfurt's got a little bit of a departure, but yeah, Dallas Love Field is getting it in the shorts right now, and so that looks to be 27 minutes and increasing, and inbound flight delays of almost an hour. So, yep. Okay, and then Memphis looks like it's an hour and 24 minutes and decreasing, but that looks to be weather if I had to guess, and then Philly is about half an hour, so, and that's due to weather. And so you can actually look at, this stuff rolling through in the general area, that will kind of hold up people getting in and out. So I can see some delays and departures. Same thing over here in Philly, where you could have, actually, there's no reason for delays there. So I don't know. We'll see. We will see. All right. There is that. Now let's get over here to C101 and C102, 202. This is going to be your director and deputy director, Homeland Security. First up is your director. This is the guy running Homeland Security coming out of Philly. Imagine that. So we were just looking at all the poppies going into Philly internationally. So landed 3 hours, 2 minutes ago. Probably just checking in, making sure that we were getting treating them right. So there is that. And then C202 looks like he landed about a day ago. He was down in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, and went back to the brown zone. All right. And so that is what they have been up to. Okay, now let's get back over to our main board and just take a quick look, a little round robin before we roll out for the weekend. It looks like it's a complete and total whiteout. And there we go. All right. I knew eventually it would load, but see what we got going on here. So looks like Marine Corps 737 coming out of Hawaii. Got a couple helos up over Hawaii. Over the U.S. in general, it's that is going to be one of your Gitmo birds. Now, that is probably your base commander because that is what he usually flies coming out of Lauderdale, usually coming out of Jacksonville or Lauderdale. But the Gitmo 844, that is normally the base commander, okay? So when you see that, that's what it is, okay? All right, and let me see. We do have one of our, that's going to be one of our Spec Ops birds rolling out of Tampa. It looks like headed up to the northeast, northbound. He's at 27,000 feet, 324 knots. So it doesn't look like he's landing anytime soon. But there is that. Now, I did see a lot of two ships, C-130s. Again, when you see a boatload of tankers up, that's typically because they're keeping aircraft up aloft a lot longer. They need to be refueled. Weather could do it, but usually it's going to be fighters. We've got a lot of fighters up. So given the state of affairs that we watched over the weekend with all the fighters up over D.C., or not D.C., but Delaware, that would indicate that there is some concern from the Flashbang administration about our enemies that and our allies, for that matter, I don't think the state of the union is so hot right now. And like I said, when you got this guy that's in office that seems to be floundering on every corner, that typically would make your enemies think, if I was ever going to strike, that would be now. So I'll pay close attention to that. I'll be watching over the weekend to see if we've got fighters up again over D.C. because I know Right now, that looks like that's where he is planning on staying over the weekend. And then I'll keep you posted on it. So that's going to be it for our sit rep today. You guys, listen, be safe out there. Stay frosty. God bless. Monkey out. Check out the latest gear and products at monkeyworksus.com.